Hello students, today we will see Introduction to Controllers. Controllers are mainly used to improve the performance of the system. The selection of particular type of controller depends upon the nature of plant, operating conditions such as safety, cost, availability, accuracy, weight and size. So this is basic block diagram of control system. So see here, actually in this block diagram, we know that this is nothing but a summing point where two signals are getting compared. Okay, so output of this summing point is nothing but error. Okay, so our task is to minimize this error and to match the output as per requirement. So today we will see different types of controller. Look at this. This is block diagram for PID controller. In generalized form, we know that P is the proportional controller, I is the integral controller, D is the derivative controller. And we can use the combination such as PI controller, that is proportional integral controller, second proportional derivative controller, and the combination of all three is called as a PID controller. Okay, so as the name suggests, all these controllers are included in forward path. Okay, you can see the block diagram here. Here it is shown that P is shown with the Kp constant. Okay, so that is proportionality constant, and E of T, just now we have seen that. Look at this here. Here actually error is there. Okay, so output of this summing point is the error. So what we will do, we have to reduce this error. So for that we are using this Kp, that is proportionality constant or proportional controller we are using. Okay, so in simple way here I have shown all these three controller. Okay, so look at this here. Actually EA of A I have shown, that is nothing but the actuating signal. Okay, one more summing point is there and output of this summing point is actually EA, and that is nothing but the actuating signal. So definitely you can see that here error signal is there, and after using this controller it will affect on the this input, and this input is nothing but error. Okay, so that error will get reduced. Okay, so our task is to reduce the error and to improve the performance of the system. Okay, so this is actually the process, and final is nothing but the output. Okay, so these PID controllers are selected depending on the requirement. So we will see in detail where we can use these three controllers. Okay, see here I have shown these three blocks. Suppose this block is not there. Let's assume that here this constant Ki is 0, Kd is 0. Then in that case what you will say, only proportional controller is there. Okay, suppose I want to use the combination of these two. So what I will do, Kd, it will be 0. So these two will be nothing but a parallel path. So we are using Pi controller. Okay, suppose you want to use PD controller. So Ki, it will be 0. So this will be PD. Okay, so like that you can select the controllers as per your requirement. Now we will see how we will select these controllers. Okay, so see the definition of proportional controller. It is simple regulating type. Tuning is easy. Okay, tuning is easy, but it normally introduces steady state error. Okay, so this is disadvantage. Suppose we will use the proportional controller, in that case steady state will be introduced. So it is recommended for process transfer functions having a pole at origin, or for transfer function having a single dominating pole. For example, here actually transfer function is given, and you can see that here tau 1, tau 2, tau 3, these are the constant. Okay, or we can say that all these three poles are the real poles. So here we have assumed tau 1 is greater than equal to tau 2 and tau 1 is greater than equal to tau 3. Okay, so in this case when we are using single proportional controller, in that case there will be steady state error. Okay, next integral controller. It does not exhibit steady state error but is relatively slow. Okay, see the advantage here, steady state error will not be there in case of integral controller, but here it is relatively slow. Okay, so it is particularly effective for very fast process where you need to slow down the process, so you will use the integral controller, okay, with high noise level. Okay, so this is definitely to reduce the noise level, so we are using the integral controller. Second, process dominated by date time. Okay, where date time is more, in that case we need to use that integral controller. Number 3, high order system with all time constants of the same magnitude. Okay, so these are the application part of the integral controller. Now next, see here, proportional plus integral controller. Now we are using the combination of proportional plus integral. It does not cause offset associated with the proportional control. I told you, see, the term offset is important here. What is offset? We have seen the time response. Okay, just take a example. We have seen such type of underdamped response. Okay, and suppose this is the reference output, or I will say this is the input, and this y-axis is nothing but output. Okay, so this is our requirement. Okay, and suppose this output response is following this reference signal, but it is not matching. Okay, so this is generally the offset. This is called as offset. Okay, so it does not cause offset associated with the proportional controller. Okay, it also yields much faster response than integral action alone. Okay, so it will be faster, as we have seen in case of the integral controller. Okay, that is relatively slow, but when we are using the combination of PI, it will be relatively fast. It is widely used for process industries for controlling variables like level, flow, pressure, etc. Those do not have large time constants. Number 4, proportional plus derivative PD controller. Okay, you can check in that block diagram also. There we have used the combination. Here we are using PD controller. Okay, proportional plus derivative. It is effective for system having large number of time constants. It results in more rapid response and less offset. See the advantage here. It is rapid and offset is less, whereas here offset is more than is possible by pure proportional controller. But one must be careful while using derivative action in control of very fast process, or if the measurement is noisy, for example, flow measurement. Okay. Number 5, proportional plus integral plus derivative PID controller. All three controllers are there. It finds universal application. Okay, just now we have seen the advantages and disadvantages with the previous combination, but here we are using all three controllers. Okay, so definitely the response will get improved. Okay, so worldwide these PID controllers are used. Generally in case of speed controller, this PID controller is used. See here, it finds universal application, but proper tuning of the controller is difficult. It is particularly useful for controlling slow variables like pH, temperature, etc. in process industries. Okay, so these are the definition associated with the controllers. Okay, and we have seen the application as well as advantages, disadvantages associated with this controller. But now we will see all these advantages, disadvantages in detail. Okay, look at this graph here. This graph shows the performance of the PID controller. Okay, suppose this is the on y-axis, this is output. You can take any output. Here it is shown in terms of displacement. On x-axis, that is time. Okay, here this graph shows the original process, that is without controller. Okay, this is without controller. Now you can see that here all four controllers are shown, that is proportional controller, proportional derivative controller, proportional integral controller, proportional integral plus derivative controller. Okay, so you can see that sometimes I will say that this P is nothing but a blue graph. So in blue graph you can check that peak overshoot is more. Okay, whereas if you will compare this P with PD and PID, in that case MP is less. Okay, so you can see this table here. This table will give you the comparison. Okay, what exactly you have to understand from this graph. Look at this. Here parameters, whatever that are considered, that are nothing but a time response specification parameters. So this is time constant, that is tau. Okay, this is time constant tau. Rise time, this is nothing but TR. Okay, peak time TP, overshoot MP, settling time TS, steady state error ESS, okay, and stability at last, that is important aspect. So you can see that from this graph you can analyze these parameters. You can compare all four graphs and you can write this table. Okay, so generally you can see that if you will compare this PID controller with PI and PD, then you will understand the difference between these three. Look at this. I will take two examples for peak overshoot and just settling time. Okay, so look at this. This settling time and peak overshoot, I am considering these two parameters. Okay, so look at this. You know that when the time response, that is transient response, will die out at this point. Look at this. At this point transient response will die out and steady state response will start. So the time related with the time where the steady state response will start is called as a settling time. Okay, so look at this. Here when we are using proportional controller, so small change, it will not affect much on the output response. Whereas look at this, here when we are using PI controller, in that case settling time will increase. Okay, see when I'm saying settling time is increasing, so transient response is more. Okay, that is time required to settle down or die out the transient response is more. Okay, then look at this. When we are using PD controller, in that case settling time will decrease. Okay, in PID, small change, it is shown as small change, but the net effect, it will be the decrease in the settling time that is required. Okay, so what we require, settling time should be as less as possible and this peak, that is MP, should be less. Okay, if MP is more, then definitely the time required to settle that response will be more. Okay, so look at this. Now I'm considering the peak overshoot. Okay, in peak overshoot, look at this. Here I am considering the proportional controller. You can check that in case of proportional controller, this MP, okay, it will increase. Whereas in case of PR, it is decreasing. Look at this PR, red one, it is decreasing. Okay, then see here, in case of PD, again it will increase, and in case of PID, small change is there. Okay, see here, actually you have to zoom this graph or you have to use some software to just draw this graph, then you can comment on this comparison. Okay, so see, just to get the concept of this controller, we will see one numerical based on that. See here, the numerical is given, determine percent MP and TS for unit step input. Okay, refer figure A. Here figure A is given. For figure B, KD is equal to 1 by 30. A proportional derivative controller. Look at this. This is nothing but the proportional derivative controller. PD. P means proportional. D means derivative. So this is P and this is D. Okay, so is introduced in forward path. So this is forward path, that is already given in figure B. So what we need to find, we need to find MP and TS. Okay, so see here, this is nothing but G of S. So what we will say, this system is without using the controller and this system is by using the controller, or we will say the system is exactly same. Look at this, G of S 100 upon S plus 12, and here we are using 100 upon S plus 12. Okay, so we know how to find this MP and TS because we know the formula for MP and TS. So what we will do, we will calculate the characteristic equation. Okay, so what is characteristic equation? 1 plus G of S into H of S is equal to 0. Okay, so this is G of S, this is H of S as 1. Okay, so we will substitute this G of S here and H of S here. So what we will get, we will get a characteristic equation as S square plus 12S plus 100. Okay, So now we will compare this with the standard characteristic equation, that is s square plus 2 zeta omega ns plus omega n square is equal to 0. This is standard characteristic equation. So look at this omega n square equal to 100. So what we will get? We will get omega is equal to 10 radian per second. Okay, so this is 10 radian per second. And what about 2 zeta omega n? This 2 zeta omega n is equal to 12. So substitute this omega n here. What we will get? Zeta we will get as 0.6. Okay, so we can calculate TS and MP. Okay, but before that I will just calculate the characteristic equation with controller. So same thing again, we know that characteristic equation is given by 1 plus g of s into h of s is equal to 0. Okay, so what we will do, we will substitute this new value of g of s. But what is new value of g of s? See here, 1 plus 30s. Here I will write 1 plus. Okay, so g of s is nothing but these two blocks are connected in series. Okay, so here there will be 1 plus 1 by 30s, okay, into 100 upon s in bracket s plus 12. Okay, so these two blocks are connected in series and h of s is 1. Okay, so see what I'm getting finally, the characteristic equation I'm getting as, I'm directly writing characteristic equation. You can solve s square upon 46 by 3s plus 100 is equal to 0. Okay, so this will be the simplified form. Now again we will compare this characteristic equation with the standard one. So what I'm getting, omega n, it will be 10 again. So I'm comparing this 2 zeta omega ns. Okay, that is 2 zeta omega n is equal to 46 by 3. Okay, so substitute omega n as 10 here. Okay, same. So what I'm getting zeta as 0.76. Okay, so look at this, without controller zeta is 0.6 and with controller zeta is 0.76, and we need to calculate MP and TS. Okay, so we will calculate MP and TS here. So look at this, we know the formula for MP. What is formula for MP? I will write without feedback. This is without controller. Okay, this is without controller, and this is second column is with controller. Okay, so we have calculated zeta. So MP is equal to, we know that e to the power minus pi zeta upon under root of 1 minus zeta square. So what is zeta without controller? Zeta is equal to 0.6. Okay, so substituting that value here, what I am getting here, MP is equal to, I am getting as 0.0947. Okay, suppose you will calculate percent MP, then I am getting 9.47. Okay, similarly I will calculate settling time. Settling time will be 4 by zeta omega n. Substitute zeta is equal to 0.6 and omega n is equal to 10. Okay, so what I am getting here, TS I am getting as 0.666 seconds. Okay, so we will calculate for the second one. Again the formula is same, MP is equal to e to the power minus pi zeta upon under root of 1 minus zeta square. So here zeta we got, with controller we got as 0.76, MP is same as 10, sorry, not MP, that is actually omega n. Omega n is equal to 10. Okay, so I will substitute these two value in above formula. So what I'm getting MP as 0.025. So percent MP I am getting as 2.53%. Similarly, I will calculate TS as 4 by zeta omega n. Substitute the above value. TS I am getting as 0.526, that is seconds. Okay, so if you will compare these two things, see without controller the MP, okay, that is peak overshoot, is 9.47%, whereas when we are using PD controller, in that case the peak overshoot is reduced to 2.53. Similarly, I told you that just remember the time response output response for underdamped system. Okay, so we know that if the peak overshoot is more, in that case settling time will be more, because time required to settle that response will be more. Okay, see, like this. Okay, so the conclusion is, when we are using the controller, so output response will definitely improve. See here settling time is 0.66 second, whereas here settling time with PD controller is reduced, that is 5.26 second. Okay, so I hope you got the concept of controller. Okay, so like this we can use different controllers and we can calculate the different time response specification with controllers. Okay, in that you can use PI, P or PID controller also to calculate this time response. Okay, so thank you students.